I landed the drone. My hands are freezing. I'm like, out of nowhere, I hear, get your hands out of your pockets. 2 police cops roll up on me, right? I literally drop my hands. They're like, 10-4, we got him. Chopper flies over.
No way.
No joke. Like, literally shines the spotlight on me. I'm like, oh my gosh. My eyes like lit up like, oh my gosh.
Welcome to Elevating Drone Life. Each week, we'll be speaking with professionals from all walks of the drone industry to learn about their experiences, insights, and tips for success. Welcome to Elevating Drone Life.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Elevating Drone Life. I get so jazzed with each one of these because I get the opportunity to talk to some awesome people that are doing awesome things, if I might overuse the word awesome to start the show. So today we have got with us Keson Drayton from Denver, Colorado. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Keson, born in 1987. Every time I do one of these shows, I feel a little bit older. He was raised in Colorado, been here since the age of 2. And this is something because we've known Keson for a little while, and I did not know this about him. Got a mechanical engineering degree, but turned full-time drone pilot. And we'll fill in that gap a little bit as we go along back in 2019. And definitely, and if you follow anything Keson does, you will see this. He has a passion for flight, for precision in his flight and in his work, and also sour candy. He's an only child raised by a single mother. Very interesting element of your life, which I know has helped build resilience and just kind of drive that drive and instilled that in you very, very early. Traits that have carried you through nearly 7 years in the oil and gas industry. We got to talk a little bit about that. That's actually a really important point to talk about relative to you being in the drone industry and what you do in the drone industry, which doesn't necessarily fall in at all into the oil and gas industry. So I think we might want to touch on that.
Okay.
You first picked up a drone in 2016. By the end of 2019 is when you took the leap, as they say, which is super cool. And then you launched your own drone business back then called D-Flight. You can tell us more about the name, probably just Drayton, I'm assuming. Flight? Yeah, okay. maybe not. We can get into that. And you got a couple slogans, take flight or stay grounded, and then respect the pilot, which I've seen is something that you've been kind of developing over the past. Yeah, it's kind of a cool brand that you've been developing, which I think is cool. And you're building a name for yourself in the cinematic aerial world. Again, I think go look at his stuff wherever he is. And we'll give you we'll put out, of course, all your social handles that people can check out. Your technical skill, I've seen that grow too.
Thank you.
and your serious sweet tooth. Peanut butter and chocolate. I'm with you on that. That's
Right?
an interesting combo though. So like, are you peanut butter and chocolate?
Yes, like Reese's Pieces. Oh my, those are my jam. The peanut butter M&Ms.
I do like the peanut. Of course, I like peanut M&Ms a little bit better, but I like
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, favorite color's orange. Check out the hat.
There
and I
we go.
think it speaks to like sun and energy and Keson. And then probably the most important part is we got to give a shout out to Keson's beautiful family, his wife Jocelyn. How long you been married?
We got married back in 2022. Been together it'll be 10 years this year. So I've been married for 5 years. Will be September 18th, 2020. Right. And then, together for 10 the end of this year. So we've been together for a long time. And the crazy part about it, we went to high school together. But I was what they consider a late bloomer.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, I was not. No, not at all. Oh, so
what I say to that is the key is that you bloom.
Yeah,
right?
There it is. Definitely bloomed up, and then definitely I ran into her back in 2015 when I was 28 years old. So that was 10 years ago.
By chance, or did you seek her out? How did that happen?
No, it was literally by chance. Literally was at the TJ Maxx. And happened to see her in the aisle with her sister. And at the time, her niece was like only 2. So, and I was like, I walked past her and I was like, Jocelyn? And then her sister did me such a solid favor. I was like, do you have any kids? So her sister snatched her niece out of her hands real quick and they walked off. And I was like, oh, yeah. So we got the conversing, talking, and then said a couple things. I felt like I was on a high horse that year. That year, summer 2015, by far was like one of my favorite summers in the world. So then I walk out, and ironically, we share like a very common mutual friend. So I'm like, cool, we're going to wrap, or we're talking, everything's cool. Say goodbye to her. I walk out of TJ Maxx. I'm like, yeah, she gonna notice me now. So she walks out of TJ Maxx, and I'm literally looking at her as she's walking to TJ Maxx and does one of this and walks the other direction with her sister. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, well, she's going to contact a friend and say, hey, I need Keson's number. I just saw him, yada, yada, yada. Did that happen? No, it did not, Rob. Definitely did not happen. So what I had to do is I had to reach out to our common friend and ask, like, hey, do you mind if I can have Jocelyn's number? And he was like, give me a second, bro. Give me a second. Within like 2-3 minutes, he shoots me a text with her number. I was like, cool. And at this time, it was Halloween. I'll never forget this. I literally was in my kitchen upstairs right now, the house we currently live in. And then I'm over here texting her on the side, like, hey, would you like to do dinner on Friday night? Right? Exactly like that. I'm showing my friend, like, hey, listen to this. Like, look at this, look at this. So 5-10 minutes roll by, 20 minutes roll by. I'm over here checking my phone. You know that feeling like when you first talking to somebody, your heart is racing, like, I can text like that. Sure. So then it's my little arrogant, cocky behind what I forgot to do. I said, hey, by the way, this is Keson. Right. So I knew. And then she hit back like, oh, yes, we can definitely do dinner today.
That's cool. Hey.
Yeah. So that was me being stupid and just being an idiot. And then I showed my friend like, hey, look, I got it there. So
I don't know. I didn't hear anything in there that was stupid or idiotic. That's just like,
I didn't say it
happen.
I didn't say this was Keson. That was just me being, I should have introduced myself first. It's like, hey, dinner Friday night from a random number, right?
That's true. That's true. That was nerves.
Yeah, it was all nerves. I was so geeked and excited. Oh my gosh. I was like over the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so it was cool.
And now look at you. You got a beautiful 3-year-old daughter.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Mieko, which is such a cool name.
Thank you.
And then a son you got a son on the way, about a month or so away.
Yes, time is ticking on that one. So
we better get this show over quick. Right.
So Mr. Kenzo is on the way. So we're waiting on his arrival. Big sister, she's excited. Mommy and daddy, we're happy. I think mentally I'm freaking out about scheduling. Like I was freaking out about the first one. Like, oh my gosh, I'm having a kid. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. But now, since 3 years have passed, schedule is like action, get it down to a science, to a T.
Sure.
We're going to throw a newborn in. And usually with the newborn, your whole life gets reset. But we already have a daughter, so her life can't just be on pause. We got to keep going with her. And then Kenzo's coming in the summertime. And usually, if anybody's running a drone business, especially in Colorado when the weather's nice, business like picks up even more. So we got to figure out how to maneuver that schedule around. And my wife is an entrepreneur herself. So her and her sisters run a family martial arts business. So
no kidding.
Yeah. She's a 6-degree black belt, Rob.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, I will remember that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. She uses her hands the way like boxers use her feet, or she uses her feet the way boxers use her hands.
So no wonder you're so in line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so her dad made sure that all 3 daughters were well equipped out there with skills. And the reason why we told me, because he was like, if my daughters come at any given time, I'm going to jail. I was like, okay, that makes sense. So we wanted to make sure they're well equipped. So I'm married to the youngest daughter. She's a 6th degree. The middle daughter is a 3rd degree, only because her husband's in the Army, so they had to float around and do all that. And the oldest daughter, she's also a 6th degree. So all 3 of them are deadly.
And then you get them all 3 together.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
They could take over a small country.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure. Like growing up, I was hearing some stories. They used to have to spar each other in class. Oh, yeah. So they're very well equipped. So that brings us back to, so my wife runs a mixed martial arts business with her family. Her dad started it and then eventually retired from it and then handed over to the daughter. So that's what they do full time.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah. I love an entrepreneurial family. Challenges galore, but man, is
Mhm.
it rewarding. It can
Yes,
be very rewarding, right?
very rewarding. That is correct. 100%.
Yeah. Well, let's get into a little bit about your journey and your path. Just briefly, tell me a little bit about the mechanical engineering piece of your life and world. So, I mean, obviously you care about sort of technical things and learning new things, and that's
Hmm.
a pretty challenging degree to pursue.
Yes, it was challenging. Definitely got my degree. If anybody's familiar with the University of Colorado Springs, at the
Hmm.
time the campus was very teeny, but if you venture out to that campus now, it is massive. So UCCS owns a lot of real estate, and back in the day they did, but it took them a while to get all the buildings up in the way it is right now. The town is beautiful out there. But yes,
Yeah.
back in exposure my age 2005, no sorry, 2010 is when I got my degree, mechanical engineering with a minor in mathematics. So yeah, very challenging. The reason why I wanted to do mechanical engineering is because I love cars. I've always wanted to design cars. I just like how they look and everything about them, the motors, how they move, how they work, and everything. So that's the reason why I wanted to do mechanical engineering. Ended up graduating from UCCS and then landing my first job maybe a year afterwards. I think during that time, it was like a bad time where people were struggling to get jobs coming out of college. So ended up working. My first job out of college was working at a retirement center. And that was
Just to get to
cool
work.
just to get to work. And that was cool. One of my friends took me up with that position because his mom was like the manager there because that was like one of her part-time jobs she did. She was
Okay.
working with the government. So she just did it. She didn't need to do it, but she just did it for extra money.
Yeah.
So that is a humbling job. The reason why is because you're working with people who are 85, 90 years old and they have nothing but life, right? And
Yeah.
then the next week or two, they could be gone. So
No,
it really gives you an appreciation about life and just seeing
totally.
people's journeys and really appreciating it. And you can really see when you get that age, a lot of them always just talk about family, wasn't the amount of money they made, the mansions and the cars. It was all about their fun, their family and having good memories and definitely seeing when their families come and visit them, like you can see the joy in their face. So it's
That's
always
cool.
good just if you get some time, just talk to
Yeah.
a more elderly person just to sit down and just absorb all the knowledge and game that they're giving because it's really cool. Really makes you appreciate life, and you're just like, wow, it's really cool.
That's
That was
cool.
fun.
That turned out to be a pretty good opportunity just to kind of to get grounded a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
First of
Mm-hmm.
all, having a hard time getting a job coming out of college, particularly in the
Correct.
field that you wanted to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, kind of understanding kind of what's important in life is well beyond what you kind of had as in your head, right? Coming out of college and I'm going to go do all this great stuff, which you could still do.
Right.
No, I agree. I agree that the older folks, if I can say it that way,
Mm-hmm.
in our society, man, they have a lot to offer. We just got to go pursue them. So that's cool
Yes.
that you did that. That's really cool
Yes.
that you did that.
Yes. Pretty
Um,
cool. And
so
then,
coming out of that, you moved
yep.
into
Yes. So coming out of that, then I ended up getting another job at Lowe's. So by that time, so I was working at the retirement center, then I was working at Lowe's, hardware or home, like Lowe's. I'm sorry, home improvement. There's a slogan.
okay,
So it was the one, if anybody's familiar, off of what is it? Pretty much close to Havana, and I believe that's close to Havana, Mississippi. So it's a bigger one.
okay,
It's in that general area. So worked there, worked in hardware and tools. And at that point, I'm like, I'm never gonna get the job. I don't know if this is gonna work out. And then out of nowhere, I get a call because my mom actually works in the workforce center. So she kind of knew some people and gave me some heads up about jobs that are coming out. So by the blessings of God, I ended up getting a contract position with this company with CH Toom Hill and Excel Energy. So they
okay.
had a contract going on. So they're just hiring all types of, I would say, engineers, especially out of college, to what we were doing. We were researching pipeline throughout the city, like literally diving into like the history of it,
Hmm.
looking at the stress of the pipes and all different types of stuff, building out the entire system. So Excel
Wow.
Energy wanted to know what was in their ground and what needed to be fixed and what needed to be derated and X, Y, and
Okay.
Z. So I did that for a year. And then, Rob, finally got my big break, baby. Finally got the big break. What everybody
It comes
says.
eventually, usually.
Yeah, it definitely comes. So I had a mentor at the time, and he was like, ironically, this has been such a blessing. We'll call him K. I don't know if he wants me to put his name out there, but I'll call him K. K. So he was like, Keson, you should create a LinkedIn account. And I was like, why? And think this was like 2013, 2012. I was like, for what?
Pretty early.
Yeah, super early, right? And this was before LinkedIn what it was today. So I'm creating an account, and then I get a message from this recruiter from an actual engineering job, Tetra Tech Rooney Engineering. And that, Rob, was my big break into the quote unquote engineering world. So
that's awesome. Wow. Way to go, Kay.
Yeah, way to go, Kay. 100%. So, Kay, if you're listening, appreciate you, sir. And I'll make sure you hear this. So, but yeah, Kay's still my life. Great mentor. And then ended up getting my big break as a mechanical engineer at Rooney Engineering out there by close to Centennial Airport. So I'm running familiar with that industry, that area.
Okay.
So that was about 6 to 7 years. So I would say, 6 years at Rooney. And then 2019 hit. It was about August 9th, 2019.
About August 9th. So, okay.
So go ahead.
Okay. Hold up. Let's back up. So with you're chomping at the bit to get to 2019, and I totally understand why. It was 2016 that you picked up a drone. How did that happen? Why did you pick up a drone briefly? Like what happened there?
That's a good question. So back when I was doing the engineering thing, one of my business partners at the time, we started a production company. So he was doing videography and photography.
Okay.
And I was like, I got to add something to what we're doing. And then I stumbled upon finding a drone. And back when I was a kid, I've always, and also, like I said, how I always wanted to design cars, I also wanted to be a pilot. I was very intrigued with airplanes and how they take off. At a point before, was it September 11th, you're able to walk up to the gate, right, to see your family member on the plane. So we were able to watch planes take off. So I was so fascinated with planes. So I was like, wow. So then 2016 rolled around. I was like, oh, this is right up my alley with the drones. So this is literally June of 2016. I'll never forget this. My business partner and my wife, now at the time, literally went with me to get my first drone at Best Buy. And it was a Phantom 4.
Okay.
And this is when they first dropped. So I was like, oh my gosh.
So Phantom 4 V1. Obviously, that in 2016, that would have been the first one, probably.
Yeah, first one. It was either Pro or the V1. Now it's on ice, right? I want to drone is retired.
Sure.
But yeah, I picked up my first drone in 2016. And after that, the rest was like literally history. I mean, it went along with me flying because I enjoy being in the sky. And then I got my hands on that first drone, Rob. And then it was
no pun intended. You took off.
Yeah, we took off. There we go. Point intended. We took off. It was up after that. We literally took flight. We were gone. So I was flying that thing everywhere. And I mean, from here to the moon. This is before Part 107 really came out. This is before all the rules and regulations. It was still like gray areas. Before airspace was regulated to the highest degree it is now. And then I'll tell you this, though. My mom to this day still does not know the story, and she will. Sorry, as I hold my drone.
No, you're good.
It was December. I'll remember this. December 2016 in Colorado every year, especially Denver, does a parade of lights. So it's a big event, right? 9 News is out there. They're broadcasting it. So I told my wife, like, hey, I'm going to go downtown and I'm going to film the event. Right? I was like, okay. My wife was like, be careful. I called my mom that day. My mom's happened to call me. I told her, she's like, hey, Key, be careful. Da, da, da. I was like, okay, cool. I get down there. It's 20 degrees, so it's cold. I'm over here, Rob. I'm flying my drone, getting the cool shots. I'm like, wow, this is epic. And this is right over there by the Capitol area. I think that's Civic Center Park. By the Capitol, I'm flying my drone. Everything's going well. Land my drone because I'm like, it's too cold. So I'm wearing up my hands, right? Because I don't like to wear gloves. I like to feel the actual sticks.
Sure. So are you a pincher or thumbs? It looks like you're a pincher.
FPV, I'm hybrid. So I pinch the throttle and yaw stick and I thumb the pitch and roll. But just regular DJI autonomous, I'm a thumber all day, every day. So I landed the drone. My hands are freezing. I'm like, out of nowhere here, get your hands out of your pockets. 2 police cops roll up on me, right? I literally drop my hands. They're like, 10-4, we got him. Chopper flies over.
No way.
No joke. like literally shines the spotlight on me. I'm like, oh my gosh, my eyes like lit up, like, oh my gosh. But then one cop was like, listen, I got some good news and I got some bad news. I was like, okay, what's the good news? Like, the good news, you're going home tonight. The bad news, we're going to take your drone. I was like, oh my gosh. So he was literally, so I was talking to both of them. So the head cop who's running the show was literally he literally whipped out his book and couldn't find anything like what to charge him with. And then the other cop I was talking to, yeah, he was like, you're good, man. We do this all the time. We confiscate a lot of these, da 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 da. So finally, the head cop comes over and he was like, here's your ticket. I was like, cool. I was like, how much is my fine? He was like, honestly, I don't know. You're going to have to go to court. I was like, okay, cool.
For what?
For flying the drone, right? And
Yeah,
it was at night, all that other stuff. So I'm like, oh, crap. So the cop was like, cool. I know you spent a lot of money on this drone. He was like, I just want to make sure you're bagging it up correctly. I don't want to mess it up. And at the time, this is when the Phantom 4, there's a carrying case that almost was like a backpack. So I was like, well, can I get the SD card? He was like, no, everything is evidence. I'm like, so then he packs up my drone, puts it on my back, and they literally just ride off into the darkness with my drone. I'm like, and before they rode off, I'm like, listen, I have a question. He was like, what's up? I was like, so you know how you can get arrested and you can bond out the same night? I was like, can I bond my drone out? He was like, sir,
good question.
Yeah. And he was like, sir, do you want to go to jail? I was like, no, I'm cool. So then I literally literally waited 30 days. Went up there to the courthouse, literally downtown Denver, Ferguson Courthouse. I think that's what it's called. DA, district attorney got the charge, and she was like, out of 8 years doing this, I've never seen a charge like this. And I was like, At the time, my business partner was like, so can we get it thrown out? And she was like, listen, just because you're ignorant to the law doesn't mean you can break it. And I was like, oh gosh. So then they were like, yeah, 100%. So they were like, so what are we going to charge? Like, my business partner was like, so what are you going to charge them with? And she still didn't know. So she was like, they ended up charging me. So the charge was flying an unlawful object, or you could do 8 hours of community service. So it both cost the same, right? And she was like, if you keep doing this, your fines are going to go up. So at the time it was like $160. So I chose the 8 hours of community service, right? It was really cool. I was able to help the homeless, serve the food. That was really fun. And then after I got that done, after I got the 8 hours done, got expunged off my record. And your boy has been cool up until 2021. That's another story if we get to it. So,
oh, wow. Yeah. I think we might need to.
I'm in the system just a little bit, Yeah. Your boy's been out here, bro.
Okay.
Your boy has been out here. Okay. So, there's that instance from 2016. So, 2016, picked the first drone, was able to use it with our production business. And at that time, we were doing like music videos for a lot of up and coming rap artists in the city. And no one had a drone. Like no one knew anybody who had a drone. So we were like one of the first people to have it. So business started coming in. And then I think since there, drones has just started slowly just been increasing, and people have just been on top of it ever then. So picked the drone 2016, and it was cool after that. It was fun.
So, 2016, August of 2016 is when Part 107 came out.
Yes. And then.
So, were you aware of Part 107, or you just were like, I'll deal with it later? What was your mind? Because you said December 2016 is when you did this flight.
Mm-hmm. So I was, that's a great question. So I was literally, between the August and December, are you familiar with the Arapahoe Denver Tech area? You know, the Arapahoe exit at the Denver Tech Center?
Yeah. So
I was there over at the RTD parking garage, right? And I was flying my drone, and some guy walked up to me and talked about the Part 107. He was like, just got my Part 107 license. I was like, what is that? And he was like, oh, you need to be certified by the FAA in order to fly drones to make money, or to fly drones legally. And I was like, really? He was like, he was like, I'm taking my exam today. And that is when I got hip to it. So I think the following year after that is when I got my Part 107.
Okay.
2017, 2018. And I was like, okay, because I was like, what is this? I had no idea what that was. That is right. Because didn't Barack Obama press the Part 107? Isn't that what they his whole?
No, I don't remember. It might have been. Let's see, it would have been during his second term that it was being built.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
his
So
team came out with that. Yeah, that's correct. So yeah,
yeah.
that's when I first heard about that. That's correct. So yeah, I can understand why the cops got me.
Yeah, as I put the timeline together, I'm like, oh wait, yeah, you needed your Part
Yeah.
107 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay, so then you're flying and you're kind of doing this videography, cinematography, commercials, and videos and stuff
Mm-hmm.
with your business partner. You said,
Mm-hmm.
and then so what happened to lead you to starting your own drone business in 2019? What was like all
Okay.
right, I'm gonna go
Here it
do
comes.
this.
Here it comes, baby. So 2019 comes around. We'll go back. I remember this date. Oh my gosh. Like it's like remembering my daughter being born.
Hmm.
Literally August 9th, 2019. August 9th, 2019. Never forget this day. I'm sitting in my office. I get at the time it was like a Skype message. It said, "Hey Key, do you mind seeing me in my office?" I was like, "Yep. I know what this is about." So I go in. The president was there and the HR manager. You know, if you see the HR manager and the president sitting together, it's never good news.
They're not giving you more money.
No, not at all. No promotion or raises. Oh, we want to praise you and give you, a piece of the company. No, you don't get any of
Right.
that. So any of you, I want to say college kids coming out of college and you're getting your first job, if you ever see the HR manager and the president sitting together, never a good thing. So I walk in there and I was like, yep, I already know what time it is. So the president at the time, he was like, Key, I'm going to have to let you go. I was like, oh. So the reason why to be let go, because I was quote unquote considered non-billable. So basically I had no projects to work on. So at the time, if you're considered non-billable in any company, you're pretty much, what they're doing is they're paying you from their personal pot versus from the contracts that they're getting in. Right. So basically you're just they're just blowing money on you, right? They're not making money off of you, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
you're just another number in the system. That's just what it is in
Sure.
America. So he let me go. I was upset. Oh my gosh. I was really mad. Called my wife, who's my wife now at the time, called my mom. My wife was like, oh my gosh, because she was on the way to go to happy hour with her coworkers. She's like, I'm coming over right now. I feel so sorry. Come over, right? So I'm like, call my mom, upset. I'm just like, so I ended up leaving Rooney. And then it was like literally a Friday. So then I go over to my sister-in-law's house, who's my wife's older sister, super cool, by the way. And then I'm at the table, we're all eating pizza. And then my father-in-law comes in. He was like, mm-hmm. He's like, so tell me what happened. He's like, word travels fast in this family. So I told him, so there's that. There's everything was going back and forth. Oh, I forgot. I left this part out. So before we went to dinner, I remember Jocelyn calling my older sister. I don't know if she wants her name out here. I'll just call her Jay because her first name starts with a J. And she was like, yeah, Keson got fired. Her response was like, good. That's good for him. Because at the time they knew
I love that.
Yeah, she was like, good. She was like, that's perfect for him. And I was like, that's not how
What are you talking about?
Yeah, she was like, I'm happy for him. And and then talked to her dad at dinner that night. And then I was like, okay, cool. So everything got over. Got a LinkedIn message from one of my coworkers. She was like, hey man, I heard what happened to you. I gave your name to a recruiter, people call him headhunter, at Hawker Consulting. So I was like, cool. So dude reached out to me. He's like, hey, Keson, X, Y, and Z, was wondering if you want to come in and work for us and yada, yada, yada. And this is like 30 days after I got let go. So I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up doing the whole Hawker thing, but then they let me go in November. Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
I was contract to hire. So that one was more like dating, right? We got what we wanted from each other. The Rooney engineering was like a marriage. Like, I felt like I still got a little
Yeah. Don't like to talk about it. It's through all of this kind of turmoil and challenge that at some point you're like, I got to do my own thing.
100%. So I got let go, Hawker, in November. And the end of 2019, we're going to segue. I'm going to bring it back to that story you're telling me before we started. Hawker let me go. So I called Jocelyn's dad. Me and him were really close. We weren't as close at the time, but now we're really close. And I called him. He's like, hey, Key, what's going on? Remember, he's a thoroughbred entrepreneur. He's never really had a job like thoroughbred. He's like, hey, Key, what's going on? And I was like, hey, I just got, let go from my engineering job. I was like, I think I might do this drone thing 100%. He was like, you should. He was like, just listen to see what the universe is telling you. He was like, I think you should do it. I was like, what does that even mean? Like at the time, I was like, what do you mean let the universe listen? And I was like, I don't even know what that means. Like, I don't even know if I'm doing
That's
the right
funny.
thing. Yeah.
You're
So
like, yes, sir, universe, sir.
yeah. And he was like, just listen to the universe, man. He was like, he was like, I think you should do it. And then that's what brought me into droning full time in 2019.
All right. So that's a big, wow. That's crazy how I think there's probably a lot of stories like that. Not to minimize your story at all.
No, you're good.
But what I mean by that is like people kind of getting kicked out of what they thought their future kind of looked like. And like, I'm going to go try something entrepreneurial. And I think there's been a lot of drone companies that have started that way. In multiple forms. The show I did with Jason, our buddy from Ohio, that's how he got started with his business, which was broader than drones, but his entrepreneurial journey. And it's a common theme, and sometimes that's what it takes is a little heartache to kind of give us a fresh start. So yes, it's like your sister-in-law said, good.
So
how did you get started? What did you do? Like, what were your your first steps? What happened?
That's a good question. So then we'll fast forward real quick between 2019 to 2022 when I fully went full-time drone business and got out of the production company with my business partner. 2019. So the way I got started, right? And he was like, how do I get started?
And by now you have your 107, right? Let's make
right
that
now
clear.
we have a 107. I'm A1, 100%.
Okay.
Like, don't want any smoke from the nobody, right?
You're right.
So, ended up getting started. And the way I got my first drone back in 2016, I tell all pilots this. I'm like, hey, if your credit is good, honestly, what you can do is go to Best Buy, get one of their credit cards because they have 24 months, zero interest.
Yeah,
right? Free money, right? So I'm like, if you're good at what you can do, bet on yourself, right?
Yeah,
and my thing is like,
that.
at that time, that drone was like $1,800 or something along that. And my thing is like, all I need is 20 jobs that can pay me $100 a pop, and I can have this thing paid off within 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I got started and have really the money to come off. So I literally had good credit, opened the credit card, was able to charge that particular drone on that credit card.
What was that drone?
That was the Mavic 4 Pro.
Mavic 3 Pro.
Mavic 4. This was a 2016 drone. Sorry. This is how I bought my first drone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to see where I'm started. So, and then once again, everything was rock and rolling. That drone got outdated. That's when the Mavic 4, or the Mavic 4, the Mavic first came out. So I got that one within, I think, around 2019, 18. So once again, did the whole Best Buy, charged it, and ended up getting a lot business in terms of just reaching out to clients, reaching out to people like, hey, I do real estate. I can do just pictures and photography, and just started reaching out to like contacts that I knew.
Okay. So that's a really important point because we always tell people everybody has a circle. And it doesn't matter if your circle is small or big. If it's too big, then you want to make it a smaller circle, and then you just have opportunity to grow into. But that's what you have to do. You just got to go for it and talk to the people you know, because the more people you talk to, there's going to be people that are going to want to, if nothing else, they're going to want to help you.
Right. 100%. Yep. They're always going to want to help you. And yeah, so it's always good to, and like I said, I mean, it's either God and universe will speak to you and say, hey, I feel like people are be putting your life, or I heard this from one of my good friend's mom, a reason, season, or lifetime. Right. Yeah. So sometimes people are just putting your lifetime just for a reason or a season.
Sure.
And some of those people are just walking angels who just want to help you. Right.
Yeah.
No different than that movie Field of Dreams. Like if you build it, they will come. I never knew what that meant until like 2-3 months ago. Now I get it. Like, once you start building something, you'll be surprised how many people want to be a part of it and actually help you and try to bring you up to that next level. So it's really cool.
Absolutely. Well, and the reality, I think your personality is attractive, Keson. And so I could see where people would definitely want to pitch in and do what they can to help you, because it's clear you're going to work and you're going to do your part. What do you think was like, at what point did you say, you know what, I think this is going to work? How long did that take? That's a really good question, Rob. That's a really good question. So I want to say
That's really good. So when I realized I had a little bit of motion, meaning a little movement
Mm-hmm.
out here in Colorado, I knew when it'd work when it was becoming more consistent,
Yeah.
right?
How long did that take?
That took a while. So I would say around the end of, so I started 2016, went full time end of 2019, switched over to D Flight 2022. So I want to say around 2021, 2020 is when the word of mouth started bubbling just a little bit, when people were just, I want to say randomly calling me like, hey, I got your contact information from so and so. Do you mind coming out and doing the job for me? So once that started happening, I was like, I think I can do this. Right. And also working for other companies and saying, hey, I really like this. Working for another drone provider company who also gave me another big break is Flyroute. If you guys get the
Okay.
opportunity to interview them, Flyroute, Michael and Colin, amazing. I ended up working with
Awesome.
Flyroute, I think back in 2021. And
Hmm.
I was like, I really enjoy doing this. I'm literally am able to make money flying drones and doing something I love. And I remember telling my coworker that one day at Rooney in the office, like, hey, if I can make money flying drones, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
So once it started to be more consistent and jobs started to trickle in, it's not rushing in, like just pouring in, but trickling in like a little drip here and there. I was like, I got something. Right. And
Yeah.
from there, I was like, I really think I can really make some moves out here in the drone industry. So
Yeah.
once those jobs started coming in and coming in and coming in, I was like, I'm really gonna go super full time into this. And I really feel like I got something out here. Right. Because
That's
what's the
awesome.
worst case scenario? I go back to engineering, that's cool. Sometimes you have to look at it like you always have to ask yourself, the worst case scenario is not that bad, then go ahead and do it. And the worst case scenario is
Man,
going back to work. Why not go for it, right? So
100%. And I think that being willing to fail is such an important part of
mhm,
life. I
mhm.
think I know I was way too careful early in my life. Now I'm old now and I'm, that's funny. It's kind of like, it's if you can take risks the earlier you start to take risks, the better. I'm generalizing here, but I believe that sort of as a life philosophy. Obviously, the older you get, you kind of have to pare back probably on risk taking, depending on what your underlying resources are. But like we used to in our family, and other people have said this, like around the dinner table, because our family would have dinner together probably 5, 6 nights a week. It was really important to us.
Mhm.
And some of those conversations were, how did you fail today? I don't want to hear what you did good. I don't want to
I
hear about
like
the A
that.
you got. It's, how did you fail? And if you don't have anything to say about how you failed, well, then maybe you need to think about trying harder or trying something
Ooh,
different, right?
I like
So,
that. How did you
so I
feel
think
today?
it's
I like
important. Like you went for it and you were willing to fail.
that.
And I love hearing those stories. So that's really awesome. And so one
Thank
of the
you.
things that's intriguing among others, as we're hearing about kind of your journey, is that you've pretty much embraced the real estate industry with your drone.
Mhm.
And I know it's blossomed beyond that, but it's still quite a bit of what you do, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of people will say, yeah, I don't want to mess with real estate. It's oversaturated, and maybe it is. I mean, it's some people are not wrong in that perception, but you've embraced it. How have you made real estate successful as such an important part of your drone business?
That's a good question. So real estate is, I would consider, if you are a new drone pilot in the industry looking for work, I would say real estate is
Sure.
probably one of the easier industries to get in. I'm
Do you
gonna say
still
it's
think that in 2025?
yes. Yeah, I still think it's one of the lower hanging fruits out there.
Okay.
So yeah, real estate. The reason I was able to work with that one, like when I first got started, I literally would go on Zillow, research listings in my area, especially like I would say the $1 million properties, and see
Hmm.
what listings did not have drone photography.
Which is a
Right.
lot of them. It's
A
still a
lot of,
lot of them to this day.
which is crazy, right? So I literally look at the listing agent and literally reach out to him, either if it's call or text, and say, hey, looking at your listing, it looks like you don't have any drone images for your listing. Is there any way I can come out to your next listed property and take some free images for you. Right.
Okay.
A lot of times you get a lot of ghosts, and sometimes a lot of them like, yes, I do like this. So I got started there. And then sometimes I'd drive around the neighborhoods, look at big houses. I'd have my drone on me all given times, take images, make sure I took a picture of the real estate's information, because they have that poll with their information, took a picture of that, edit the picture, and then sent it to them via text. Like, hey, I would say that, hey, I was just in your neighborhood and I took a picture of your property. Let me know what you think. I would love to work with you on your next listing. Boom.
There you go.
Right. And then a lot of times someone wouldn't hit back, and some of them would be like, oh yeah. How much do you charge? And I have this listing in here, da da da. So for a while, I was actually giving out a lot of free service just to get my name up there. And then now, fast forward, definitely contract with the company and where they do all the work, and they just send you out when they need you to take some real estate images. So from real estate, it blossomed from real estate to construction to roof inspection to definitely being a freelance drone pilot, meaning if anybody needs any drone anything, they'll reach out and call me like, hey, we're doing this commercial tomorrow. We're doing this marketing video. Is there any way you can get shots of downtown? Or is there any way you can get shots of talent just walking down the street? We just need a drone for this particular shoot. Yes, 100%. So what I want to tell any drone pilot out there, if you're new in the industry, right, and you're trying to, let's say you want to break into real estate, construction, just being a freelance drone pilot, don't be afraid to give out free work. Think of it like the Costco effect, right? So what is the one biggest thing Costco is known for when you walk in, Rob? What is it?
Oh man, I go get those snacks.
The snacks, right?
Free snacks.
The free snacks, right? So the Costco
Absolutely.
effect, right? So a lot of times you won't even know about what these free snacks, so they'll be like back in aisle 12 in the back, right? So as a drone pilot, as a drone pilot, think of it like the Costco effect. You got to give out some free samples so people know who you are, right?
Yeah.
So no different when they're giving out free snacks. Like, oh, this is great. They're like, oh, it's in aisle 12 and it's on sale today, right? Just like as a drone pilot, you give out your free stuff, or you're like, hey, I'm going to give it to you at this still of a price, right? And then as you get better, right, your price is going to increase. Same thing with that free item that they're giving out at Costco, right? As people become more hip to it, all of a sudden the sale's gone and it's back to regular pricing. So think of it as a drone pilot. It's the Costco effect. You got to give out your samples, right? So people can understand to taste and digest of what your product is and get a feel for who you are and what you can deliver and serve in the industry. And then from there, it's a compound effect, right? So you may not be able to land that client that you got free work from, but on the back end, you're able to use that to build up your portfolio, to use that as leverage, to take that to go speak to another client to get more work. So,
well, absolutely. And the person that sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're good.
The person that you maybe gave some free work to, and there's differing philosophies on that. Some people say, I'm not going to do that. I personally am a believer in that approach. And the person that you give some free work to and you're not able to ever generate any paying business from that person, that doesn't mean they're not going to talk about you with other people.
Exactly.
It's just building the network. It's making yourself known. And I think that you are a perfect example of that, where you're just, in a big city like Denver, you've made a name for yourself by just stinking doing it like over and over.
I appreciate that.
Right. And then, I'm sure you could not count how many times you've been told no.
No. Yeah. I get
right.
Yeah. No, all the time. It's either three options. It's yes, no, or they ghost you. They just don't respond back at all.
Jeez, you'd rather hear the no than the
rather
ghost.
hear the no. And the reason why I like the no is because now they got your information, because you never know what might happen next.
There you go. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. So it's doable. Like, I don't want to oversimplify it because you've put in the work, but I think too many people, they give up too soon. And sometimes people give up too soon out of necessity. Like they don't have a choice. They've got to make money somehow.
Right.
And so they choose a different path, even though they'd love to keep pursuing the drone business. It's just not practical. But for anybody that can hold on, man, it's doable. It really is doable. And I think you're a perfect example of that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And so, I mean, that goes back to my wife, right? My wife is a huge supporter. And then, so her being an entrepreneur, and then her dad is a huge supporter. So he also gives me the confidence to be like, hey, Keson, you can do it. Like, it's going to take
That's
some
a
work.
really important point.
Yeah, you can do
Surround
it.
yourself with people who, and obviously you're married and they don't necessarily have that perspective as strongly and proudly and deeply as your wife has supported you. Not everybody has that, but if you can, surround yourself with people that are going to be that for you.
Right, right. And yeah, I completely agree. And then the question may be like, hey, this drone business is not really picking off right now, and I don't want to get out of it and go back to a job. So what I would say for that, it's okay. Go get you a part-time job, right? It's okay to give up some things at the beginning for you to be successful down the road. I mean, you can listen to the Gary V's of the world and all these other motivational speakers online. It's okay to give up some of that stuff, right?
Sure.
If you need to sacrifice and go get a part-time job to take that money to go take care of your financial obligations while you're still pursuing your dream of being a drone pilot, do it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Go work you a little part-time job. It's 2025. There's so many different ways you can make money on the side.
True.
And that's okay. Even if you have to work 9 to 5, when you come home, you give it 2 to 3 hours, or not to say 2 hours. You can even give it like 10 to 20 minutes a day, and it'll constantly build. Because if you really want something, you'll go get it. You'll go do it. Trust
Yeah, absolutely. So to be clear, like you're 100% drone business now, right?
Yeah, 100% thoroughbred.
Yeah. What would you say have been some of your biggest challenges?
That's a good question. So the biggest challenge I face day in and day out is always expanding your footprint and growing, right? It's always like, where is my next client coming from? How can I take this? And like my wife's dad has said, you want to duplicate yourself, right? Like Drone News. So you guys got the classes, you got the podcast, you got the in-person meetups, and then you guys are posting content left and right. So you guys are constantly expanding your footprint, right? So I feel that's one of the biggest challenges, always acquiring new clients, right? It may look like 1 month is like, oh my gosh, this is booming. I feel like I'm that drone pilot. Like no one can say no to me, right?
Right.
And that next month it goes, right?
Yeah.
So it's always searching for a new client, expanding your footprint, and the mental, right? It's always your mental will always get to you when work is not coming in, or you may be looking on social media like this person's video is okay, but their engagement is insane. How are they constantly getting work? How are they constantly getting views? How are people constantly reaching out to them? But that's okay, right? So you got to constantly
part of the learning curve.
Right? You got to keep your mental intact. And I'd say, think of entrepreneurship, if you're into running at all, like a long distance run on a not so ideal day, right? I run every morning and I can't say it. I hate it, but it has to be done. But entrepreneurship is like literally running long distance on a not so ideal. So maybe it's cold outside. It's 25, 30 degrees. The rest of the house is sleeping in the heated house and you have to go outside and run. It's cold. You don't want to do it. You're not feeling well mentally. Like, I don't even know if I can complete this. You may have had a crazy meal the night before. Right, and that's going to slow you down. So you get out there.
Dadgum Dairy Queen Blizzard.
Yeah,
that's my
100%. And you're running, literally, you're out there by yourself, running by yourself, right? This is entrepreneurship. You're running by yourself. Your body starts talking to you. Hey, listen, it's okay. It's okay to quit. Your mind starts kicking in. It's okay to quit. The body's shutting down. It's all right. Just stop. No, who's watching? Yeah. Who's going to judge you? Like, just stop. It's okay just to stop and walk back home. But at that point is when you got to push through and have that perseverance. So if you're able to push through those mental mind blockers and those thoughts saying, hey, you can quit. Don't worry about it. Just go back home. You don't have to do this. What are you proving yourself? Why are you doing this anyway? No one cares. But if you can get through that, and when you're able to break through that and you're able to complete that long distance run, oh, it feels so good. Right, Rob? And I feel like nothing can stop you after that.
I love that metaphor. So I'm a runner myself, and I remember training for my first marathon.
Okay.
And I still remember this run where my buddy and I, it was like we're training, and I think it was like our 16-mile run.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
we go out 8 miles and then we turn around and we just weren't paying attention because we talked and we were training together. We didn't realize the wind was at our back going out.
Oh
So
no.
we have to do the second 8 coming into the wind, and it was a good wind.
Wait, you had
And
8 miles coming into the wind?
it was,
Ain't no way.
I remember it like it was yesterday. And did I want to quit? You're absolutely darn right I wanted to quit. But we did it. And I think that's a really phenomenal metaphor because for entrepreneurship, it's so true, especially when you put it in the context of being out there running by yourself. When
Yes,
like who's going to care?
exactly.
Right? It's on you.
Right. In entrepreneurship, you start off by yourself, right? And there's so many nights you're up there you're late at night, early mornings, and you're by yourself. And it's like, hey, this is not working out, or hey, I'm not getting clients. Once again, think of it, that's like your body shutting down. And hey, this may not be for you, right? Or maybe you're just not good enough. You need to quit and go back to finding a job.
Yeah.
Same thing.
We all got that inner voice. And some people have external voices saying the same things.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, which is kind of a bummer. So, tell the audience a little bit about kind of some of the things that you're doing specifically on a daily basis or weekly basis or whatever context makes the most sense to grow your business, to get new clients. What is Keson doing?
That's a good
for
question.
D-Flight?
So every day, the goal is to definitely reach out to more clientele and market and build your brand.
Do you have quotas for yourself, or do you have a system? Do you track things?
That's a good question.
How do you do it?
So not necessarily a quota, like, hey, I need to reach out to 10 jobs a day. But my thing is, some of the big things I do is always continue to learn, right? If I'm learning video editing skills, picture editing skills, or if I'm looking on Drone, looking at different courses that I can acquire and definitely look into. So there's that. Reaching out to clients. Hey, I see you got this job going on. Would you need drone services for this particular job? Or doing the follow-up, not even the follow-up, going back to previous clients like, hey, just checking in. We haven't talked for a while. Hope everything is going well. If you have any projects going on, is there, please let me know. I would gladly help out on those. And then building brand like social media, right? You may not even have any jobs that day, but if you can constantly continue to put yourself out there in terms of, hey, just throw a picture up there, right?
Yeah.
Explain the picture and put a link on the bottom of your particular image, you're fine. Or reach out to other people in the industry who are doing it like you are.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just a step ahead of you, right? In terms of like they're a little bit more successful in what you're doing. Just reach out to them like, hey, if you have some time, do you mind just sitting down and talking? I would like to pick your brain.
I love that. That's a great point. And if anybody has watched the episode with George Alvarez from Miami, we talk a little bit about that, if not a lot about that. It's really important. How have you found the response to be when you reach out to other pilots and other people? Because I think there's this perception that people are going to be like, screw you, I'm not sharing my information with you. I don't think it's like that. I think the industry, I will say, I think it's evolved because I'm not going to lie. Early in this industry, Wild Wild West, lots of unprofessionalism. I come from a professional background, CPA, right? Buttoned up suits and all that world. And then I got into this and I was like, holy cow, people are mean. But
yeah.
but there's also a lot of, I think people are generally willing to help. Is that what you found?
Yeah. I mean, I have found that like with just when reaching out just to people, I feel like a lot of people, I mean, just like anything. So there's people who are just not going to give their knowledge of like, hey, forget you. I worked hard to get to this point. I'm not going to tell you because in their mind, they're feeling like if I give you all this, and then you're going to come back and just use it and get ahead over me.
I call that the scarcity mentality instead of the whatever the like the mentality of plenty, right? There's plenty.
Yes. There's plenty. There's so much money in this drone industry for everybody to make. So reaching out to other people who are experienced or been in the industry for a while, a lot of them will respond back and say, yeah, because a lot of times, Rob, drone pilots, they're very, very like it could get lonely, right? It's not like you're just
That's
around
true.
people all day. You're just a lot of times you're in the field by yourself, and it may just be you and your visual observer, right? Or maybe you're on a small project and it's just you, right? So a
Yeah.
lot of times, what I've found, especially some of these experienced pilots, a lot of them times they love to offer free advice and give it away, right? Just to see you grow and blossom in this industry. And I love doing that, right? I mean, if pilots reach out to me, I like to give them some knowledge and give them some gems and some free game. Like, hey, try doing this and see if this works. So
I love that. We need more of that mentality, more of that approach to networking and just helping each other, particularly because the industry is continuing to grow. And yes, there's, it could be argued there's some saturation in various elements of it. And it's constantly changing as to whether a company is going to use an internal pilot versus a drone service provider, kind of like yourself. But it's always ebbing and flowing. And that's what we've learned over the 11 years that we've been a part of this industry is just keep at it. It's ebbing and flowing. Your opportunities will come, but you gotta put in the legwork. You gotta put one foot in front of the other every single day. And that's what I hear you're doing. And that's why I keep seeing your cool stuff all over the internet.
I appreciate it. Yeah. We're tied back to running, just like running one foot in front of the other.
There you go.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, every single day we're just getting after reaching out to clients, posting on social media, learning about what's new in the industry. How can I improve my skills? Right. I'm huge in the FPV doing that. If I'm not doing FPV, it's like I need to learn how to edit this video better. Let me go look at this other pilot who has this amazing drone video. And it's like, that is a banger. Like, how are you just that? So analyzing and dissecting that, constantly, how do I say, keeping myself updated on information, right?
Yeah.
Like, how's the drone move? Like, what's the newest feature? What's the new drone out there? Checking the temperature of water. Like, what's new? What are people talking about? Yeah. So I like to say this to any drone pilot new in the industry. I would encourage you to learn your drone inside and out and learn how to edit your footage, learn how to edit your pictures, learn how to edit your video, because the last thing you want to do is be at mercy to an editor, or you may not even have the budget to do so. So if you can teach yourself how to edit at an early stage in your career, I promise you down the road, it will benefit you like no other. So continue to immerse yourself in this drone industry. You may not have anything going on to that's okay, but at least keep your mind in it, right? Go watch some YouTube videos, go look at what other people are doing, go watch podcasts. So that will continue to keep your mind on it. So you're like, you know what? I got to keep going.
Absolutely.
I gotta keep doing this.
I love it. There's always more to learn. There's always ways to be better.
Yes.
And that's what I hear in a couple of things coming out of this conversation. Thank you for the time. We're coming up against it. I want to honor your time.
No, appreciate you.
And a couple things. One is be a doer again.
Yes.
Just execute. Man, be willing to fail. And I don't know, just never stop. Think of that run. That's such a great.
Think of the run, baby.
Think of the run. But last question.
Yes.
It's how much of what you're doing are you doing kind of solo, or do you, besides the network that you might hand something off to a pilot that you know, are you doing most of your work kind of on your own?
So that's a good question, Rob. So yes and no. So if they're the smaller projects, yes. But for the full totality, no. Definitely have a team behind closed doors. My father-in-law, we actually run drone workshop classes. So we teach kids how to build, program, and fly. He helps me out with that.
Cool.
And then if it comes to like equipment, I do have somebody else who helps me out in terms of like getting equipment needed for different shoots. So it may look like I'm doing it by myself, but no, definitely have a team behind me, just behind closed doors. But I always would encourage everybody to build a team, right? You can't do this by yourself. I'm sorry. It's virtually impossible to do it by yourself and want to grow in the trajectory in which you're looking to grow. So I would say, yes, you're going to start by yourself, but I feel like you got to slowly put together a team and trust people. You're probably like, how do you trust people? The universe and God will talk to you, right?
No, that's right.
Yeah, they will put people in your life, and you'll know in your heart, like, okay, I like that person. We need to work together.
You will. Mm-hmm. And I think there's, it's like if you hear something really funny and you laugh out loud, but you're the only one that heard it, and you're looking around like, oh, like I didn't get to share that laugh with somebody.
Yeah.
So doing it with other people, whether it's because of the heartaches or because of the celebrations, it's more better, if you will.
I like that.
It's more better with people around you that you're in it together with. So I kind of feel like we're kind of in it in Colorado together. So thank you, Keson.
No, thank you.
We're always here for you. If we can do anything for you up north in Loveland, you let us know.
Okay, I appreciate it. And same thing. If I can do something for you guys down here in Denver / Aurora, let me know. And I do appreciate the opportunity you guys have given me today. I do appreciate that. And then
it's our pleasure.
One last thing. Do you mind if I tell people where they can reach me up?
Please do. Please do.
So on Facebook and LinkedIn, you can just type in Keson Drayton, KESON DRAYTON. And then on Instagram, it'll be D Flight, which is drone flight, not Drayton, but drone flight productions. And then on TikTok, if anybody's familiar with TikTok or on TikTok, I usually go by my alter ego called DP Key, aka Drone Pilot Key. So you can look me up on TikTok. Once again, it'll be D Flight Productions. But yeah, look me up on any of those social media platforms. And if anybody needs some advice or you're looking for drone services, you can contact 720-477-0513, and we'll take care of all your drone needs, baby.
I love it, Keson. And we'll have all that in the show notes too. So it'll all be there for you. Thank you. It's a pleasure. And I look forward to the next time we connect. Stay safe out there.
All right. Thanks, my man.
Thank you for listening to the Elevating Drone Life podcast. If you were inspired, entertained, or learned something new, please share the podcast with your friends and fellow drone enthusiasts. Join us next time as we continue our mission of bringing the real world of drones to life. To learn more about the Drone U family, head to thedroneu.com or for enterprise solutions, propsflightschool.com.